G'day there guys, Marky here, and welcome back to another episode of r/relationship advice. Let's go. My girlfriend of 5 years wants to explore her options. So me, 22 male, and my girlfriend, 21 female, have been dating for around 5 years. We are both in college and started dating when she was 16 and I was 17. She was diagnosed with depression and used to talk to a lot of guys when we weren't together. She liked tall and hairy guys, and I'm neither, so this experience has brought back my insecurities when I was younger. She recently told me guys were hitting on her in her workplace, and that she liked the attention a couple of months before this. Didn't exactly say that, but it was something along the lines of that. So I gave her even more attention, and I tried to please her in that area. She just told me that she wants to explore her options since she's still young. She told me something along the lines of, she's unsure if she's going to regret not exploring her options and how she feels trapped, and asked me how I know I'm not going to regret it either. I thought our relationship was going great. I communicate with her during sex, ask how she's doing, and how I can improve myself and our relationship. She smiled with me, laughed with me, we went out to so many places together that we both picked out, we shop, we have passionate kisses, we have inside jokes. And even though she's not perfect, I still work it out with her because, in my mind, there is no one that I'd rather be with. God, we had so many anniversaries. We gave each other presents every holiday or special occasion. I've been with her through the lowest of lows. It feels like everything we've had together was just a lie, so she could stop being lonely, but I hope that's not the case. I've been running and jogging outside for 2 hours. As of typing this, I'm in my backyard laying on the grass listening to That's All I Got by Justice Xavier, looking at the sky wondering what I did wrong. I'm crying not knowing if I'm worth loving anymore. I'm angry because I feel so pathetic and worthless. It literally felt like someone stabbed me through the heart. Should I let her go explore her options? Whatever that means. Should I fight for our relationship? Should I let her know how I feel? I'm so lost. In the comments, like others said, end it. This is sadly the consequence of having a long-term relationship while young. I know it's hard because you know nothing else yet, but there is nothing wrong with you. You will find someone else and move on, trust me. I know it feels like the world is ending, but it's not. Leave her to go do whatever she wants and go live your life. I've been there. You are so young and have so much more life to live, and with someone who actually wants to be there. And edit, no, I don't mean all relationships started when young is bad. I mean when you're young and a relationship ends, it feels like the end of the world. Also, a lot of changing goes on from teens to early 20s. Sometimes you just grow apart, and that's okay too. Absolutely. Well said. When you enter a long-term relationship from such a young age, you begin to question yourself if there are other things in life that could make you even more happy, and this isn't a reflection on you, OP. It's a part of growing through the years. This feeling isn't limited to just the young, but it's all the more present as you've just begun your life. 20 feels like everything when you're 20, but it'll feel like the blink of an eye in a few years. It's nothing wrong that you did OP, but more on how your partner feels. There are insecurities and doubts that everyone holds, and even if she is happy, the idea of the potential for more is something that will fill her with regret if she doesn't venture down this path. You have to decide what you'll do in the end, as you'll have to live with your choices. But you should let her go and break up, but find a way to do it respectfully and with grace. That's going to be hard to do when you're so emotionally turbulent right now, but if you end it poorly, you will regret it. You obviously care for her, and she's been a big part of your life, so it's going to hurt, but if you hang on to her while letting her explore her options, it's going to eat at you, and feelings you had for her will be corrupted, and you're going to resent her. Leave on good terms if you can, and if it is meant to be, you will find yourself together again down the road, or you may not. And that's something you'll have to learn to accept, but you don't want to hold on to something that wants to fly away. Sometimes it's better to walk away than have your mental health deteriorate. No friendship because of mental pain. No contact, just block. Yeah, no contact is better. Your mental peace is preferred above anything else. And I'm so sorry that you have to go through this, but better days will come. And now, on to the update. Okay, I want to preface by saying I don't think it's her fault. I don't totally believe it was my fault either, though. I didn't do anything inherently wrong. Maybe I just wasn't in a good mental state because of stuff going on in my life. She had her issues too, but who doesn't? I didn't abuse her or anything. Maybe I was just mopey and depressed, or maybe we were just too young. Anyways, she cheated on me and went on a date with a male coworker of hers 3 times. It's been around 2 months since we broke up. I gave her a second chance after she cheated, but basically, I asked if she could be loyal to me, and she said no. I'm not going to lie to you, it was devastating. Like, I didn't know how much of my life revolved around her until we broke up. I think I was dependent on her, and that was one of the many reasons why it didn't work out. I may have said some things that I regret, like telling her I'd miss her and paragraphs on how I respect her wishes and wish her well and how I love her, blah blah blah. But I wanted to write this when I was in a good state of mind. Man, I remember coming home after the breakup and just breaking. Like, I saw my mum put on the strongest poker face I could muster, and she asked what was wrong, and I just couldn't hold it in, and I just broke down. I cried like a mother effer, and me and my mum had a heart-to-heart moment and just talked for hours. Most of it wasn't even about the ex, which was nice, but that was my first step to getting better. Fast forward a little bit, I start Googling how to deal with a breakup since this is my first relationship which I had poured so much time and energy into, and a great tip was to talk to my friends. Man, I was so stupid. I finally realized after 20 years of living, I can actually talk to people about my problems. Sounds so obvious, but for some reason, I never ask for help. Not for school, not at work, and certainly not in life. So I start talking to my best friend of like 15 years about it. And if you're reading this, I love you, man. And he was such a great help. He gave me advice, and just talking about it made me feel better. Talk to your friends about your problems, man. Open up. Asking for help isn't giving up, it's refusing to give in. Anyways, I start making new friends and being more social, especially at work. I met this new girl at work, and I realized something. I'm sweating. Not because I like her, but because I ran out of new topics quick. And this was weird to me because I'm usually the funny guy in social groups. But it's been a while, I guess, and I thought to myself, holy crap, I have no idea how to communicate. I have no personality. That was hard to admit. I don't have feelings for said girl, but she is literally my guardian angel. I have never felt more comfortable with a person. She's so easy to talk to, and we've gone through similar life events, even the ex part. She even put me on One Piece. Amazing show, by the way. She is literally like a more mature, wiser, slightly older version of me in a way that's almost scary. It's crazy how similar we are. I'll never forget when she asked, "What's wrong?" And I responded with, "Nothing." And then she looked me dead in the eye and asked, "No, really, what's wrong?" I love her. Not romantically, and I'll always be grateful for her being introduced into my life at probably one of my low points. So anyway, I start working out, fixing my diet, dressing better, and learning how to be more confident, and I've noticed I've gotten tons of compliments. I've gotten called cute twice and pretty once. I've gotten my outfit and cologne complimented. The recognition for me was strange because of me being insecure for such a long time. Not gonna lie, kinda boosted my confidence by a bit, and I started reconnecting with my old friends, and they say I'm buff now? I don't know, for some reason I don't believe them because I got more fat to burn off, but I'm working almost every day to being better than I was yesterday. I've studied philosophy and started to listen to new music and enjoy going out by myself to the city and just enjoying the calm and the quietness of it all. And I also started picking up new hobbies and going back to school. I've started to play the guitar, and maybe want to start creating content, or maybe even photography. Oh, and this other cute girl at work started flirting with me. She listens to the same bands and musicians that I do. She asked for my number, and we text a lot. She sends me some pretty funny stuff that's slightly flirtatious. She made a comment that I got muscles and started doing these slightly flirtatious play fighting things, and she'd called me cute before. Oh, and this one time, I showed up to my workplace just to say hey, and when I tell you she lit up when she saw me, man, I haven't seen anyone so happy to see me in such a long time. This was like a week ago, and I still think about it. It makes my heart melt. I think it's too soon to start a relationship, and I still want to work on myself, but she's tempting me for sure. So yeah, I'm doing good. Doing way better than I have been these last 2 years, to be honest. I feel like I'm starting to understand who I really am and how far I'm willing to push my limits. I'm confident, strong, smart, passionate, intense, reliable, and funny, and for the first time in a long time, I don't need someone else to tell me that because I built that self-esteem on my own. If you're going through something similar, I promise it gets better. Just don't give up and find ways to work on yourself while you heal. F hating your ex, forgive her, so you can move on and just cut contact and spread love. Say hey to the people you walk by, buy those shoes you've always wanted, go hike that mountain solo, compliment that cute girl's outfit, tell your friends they're awesome, say I love you to the people closest to you. Go to that hair salon and get a cool new haircut. Sing that song at the top of your lungs in the car. The world really is held together by the love and passion of a few people. Your pain is the breaking of the shell that encloses your understanding. It is the bitter portion by which the physician within you heals your sick self. Therefore, trust the physician and drink his remedy in silence and tranquility. That's a quote from the Boondocks Season 1, Episode 13. In the comments, going from helpless, codependent heartbreak to breakup expert and life guru in 6 months is such an early 20s vibe, lol. Good for him for doing better though. Yeah. Reading this kind of makes me glad that my 20s are over. At least he wasn't dating a giant cockroach. That's never actually specified, really. Doesn't it all feel so cliche? I went through the exact same thing at about the same age. At the time, it was something I thought I would never get over, but looking back now as someone in their mid-40s, it seems like such a blip on the radar, something that is a necessary part of growing up that the vast majority of people will experience roughly the same. Right? I effing lost it at the I'll never forget her asking me what was wrong and me saying nothing and her looking me in the eyes, and saying, no, really, what's wrong? Like, is this the standard recording of socialization this poor broccoli-topped kid had at 22 years old and a 5-year relationship under his belt? Is this what the pandemic did? No, that's genuinely just being young. My husband and I were marriage experts at that age. Yeah, we were not and are not experts at nearly 30 now. The best is when young people who don't have kids that are parenting experts give unsolicited advice to someone on their second or third child. A 21-year-old in a 5-year relationship having doubts and wanting to explore her options is a totally rational thing. They should have just broken up and not done the silly 5-week break. I think she was trying to break it to him easy, but he just wouldn't let go. They're so young, they really need to see other people and maybe in the future reconnect and see where it goes from there after they've had some more life experience. I strongly agree with this. My first serious relationship started the same time that theirs did, but only lasted 3 years. My ex was trying to let me down easy, and I made it extremely difficult on her. Some people just grow apart, especially at a younger age because you are still discovering yourself and what you want in life. I'm just happy the OP's ex was upfront with the whole situation and wanting to explore options. My ex told me that her life was changing and she wanted to be single for a while, especially since she was starting college, only to be in a relationship a week later. Edit, I'm gonna add this, I have no hard feelings for my ex. I do wish she would have been more upfront about it, but looking back, I know she was just trying to make the breakup easy and try not to hurt me as bad. Though ultimately she ended up hurting me more in the long run with the lies. Again, we were both young and both learning. If I could go back, I wouldn't have dragged out the end of our relationship, and I do believe if she could go back, she would be more upfront. Something to consider for any younger readers out there scrolling through this thread. Our next post is titled, Am I the a-hole for bailing on a trip with my mother because she called my uncle to come along without telling me? To give a little bit of context, ever since I turned 18, my mother and I go on vacation every year, and it's sort of become our little tradition. I left her house when I was 22, but we stayed in touch and kept a very good relationship. We still travel every year, and it became even more special now because we don't get to stay together as much as we used to, so we use this time to be together. 2 years ago, 2 of my father's aunts asked where we were going on vacations that year, and they said that they would tag along because our trips look like fun. We were caught by surprise, but my mother gives them the whole itinerary. They end up tagging along with us the whole trip and just being a nuisance, asking me to carry stuff around. They don't speak English, and they don't even try, so they order me around. So I'm the one that has to get stuff done for them. It was the worst experience, but eventually ended, and we joked that we would never have other people come along. Last year, my uncle, her brother, asked if he could travel with us on our next vacation because it looked fun. Yeah, you know where this is going. This time, it was worse. We get individual rooms, but this time I had to share a room with my uncle so he could save some money. I live alone, so I'm not used to sharing a house with someone. Even worse, a room. Same communication issues and some personality ones. They end up fighting from time to time. Siblings, you know. And by the end of the trip, I told my mother that it's okay if she wants to travel with whoever she wants, but I'm not up to it, and I would just pass next time. This year, we're planning a cruise trip and some time in Europe. On Thursday, she told me that she had paid her part to the travel agency and I could send them the money to cover my part. When I talk to them, they ask if I'm Anon or Anon's uncle. My mother had invited my uncle to travel with us again, and after discovering that, I said that something came up and I would have to call another day to finish the payment. Today, I called my mother and told her that I'm not paying and I won't travel this year, because I don't want to repeat the same experience from last year. She started crying and saying that he invited himself again and she couldn't say no. But this time would be different because in the cruise, each one can do whatever they want. Am I the butthole for not wanting to waste my vacation, the only time of the year that I'm off work and can enjoy doing things that I like, or just, relax? Traveling with someone that I dislike, and I feel even worse because she didn't even tell me. I only found out because the agency guy asked who I was. In the comments, not the a-hole. Your mum is the a-hole because she couldn't say no. Normally, people who say this aren't the ones having to deal with the consequences for this. For example, it was OP who had to help the aunts, translate, share her room with uncle. Mum gets to be the good guy and does not have to deal with her siblings. Maybe this time she'll learn to have to deal with her brother instead of forcing OP to do it. Not the a-hole. You made yourself more than clear. As a grown woman, your mum can learn to say no to her contemporaries, or she can lose the pleasure of your company. Go plan your own trip and enjoy. Not the a-hole. Your mother is a people pleaser. You get to decide whether she gets to make that your problem or not. Especially since the person pleased never seems to be OP. Fascinating how folks pick those they'll please, collateral damage, and few in between besides themselves. Good point. Every person pleaser has a collection of people whose interests they sacrifice to maintain their people-pleasing stance. Usually some or all of their kids and/or their spouse. Ironically, the instinct to cater to a spineless people pleaser is itself people-pleasing. And now, onto the update. So I saw that some people got confused and said things about my mother-daughter relationship. I'm a dude. I don't know if that invalidates the point of my original post, but I can assure you that my mother-son relationship is very important for me, as much as if I was a girl. So yeah, sharing a room with my uncle isn't creepy, it's just annoying. So I had dinner with my mother yesterday, and we straightened things out. Good thing I had therapy a day before, so I was bulletproof to her manipulation. I told her, yet again, how I was feeling neglected and that she had overstepped the boundaries I had made. She was really sorry, but both of them already paid and couldn't cancel without losing a considerable amount of money. I told her to enjoy her trip and good luck in the trips to come because I wouldn't tag along anymore, as long as Uncle was part of it. Again, she cried a lot and suggested that we have another trip in July, just the 2 of us. That's what I wanted, right? Well, as soon as I listened to the proposal, I didn't quite want to accept it. I'm still feeling betrayed, and more so, the trip that we planned and were preparing for almost 4 months wouldn't be the same. She'll be going with my uncle, and I'll have to settle for another destination. I didn't say no yet. I'm not that stubborn, and I really like to travel with her. It's just that I've still got that bad taste in my mouth, but I didn't want to act recklessly. I'm very inclined to travel with her in July. I'll just sit on this though for a while. Unfortunately, I can't wait too long, otherwise prices will skyrocket. Thanks for all the feedback and kind words. I hope this shows my relatives that they can't push me around and infiltrate my well-earned vacation. In the comments, judging from how 3 people have insisted on coming uninvited, I doubt they were uninvited. Hey, can I come? Sure. The mum cries. He invited himself again. Yeah, my husband's family is like that. We wanted to go to Niagara Falls after our wedding. Guess who also came? Mum and sister and brother. Very romantic. 10 years later, we take a vacation to Istanbul. 7 members of his family just so happen to be vacationing in Istanbul at the same time. What a coincidence. What made it funnier? His uncle complaining about his older sister inviting herself along as though he hadn't invited himself on our trip. You should have just stared him dead in the eye and said, yeah, it really is unpleasant when some people invite themselves along where they were not invited or wanted. As bad as this is, I was expecting it to be worse. OP made the best choice available, I think. Hopefully they can work things out with Mum. The most infuriating thing about people pleasers is that the only person they feel comfortable blaming is the one who stands up for themselves. People pleasers get to a point with close relationships that they stop seeing that person as a person they need to please and more of an extension of themselves. So it flips and suddenly their anxiety about pleasing other people gets shared and dumped onto the one they are close with. For example, ever known somebody who desperately tries to woo their partner in the courting phase until they've been together for a few years and now they snap at them for embarrassing them in front of their friends or some crap like that? That's often what's happening. Oh my god, I started doing this to my husband, but I caught myself and just thought, if I don't love these things about him, do I actually love him? And who is more important to me, him or others? I snapped the hell out of that, and I'm so thankful I did. My geeky husband is the best, and I can't imagine life without him. Now I'm not embarrassed when he wears that well-made, geeky coat out in public. It's him, and he loves it. I am no longer a people pleaser. And that's where I'm going to end today's episode, guys. I do hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.